Hey everyone, welcome back to Rugged DIY. I'm Steve Mikulich. Today we're getting started on the chicken coop build. I spent the last week cutting up all my wood. I had to buy a little bit of wood, but still I've saved myself a lot of money in utilizing what I did have. Now this video is going to be, a combination of a few days of build. Today I'm going to get started on putting together the base for the chicken coop. And then, depending on how much I get done, through the next few days, I'll just be putting this video together. Now, it is going to take a little bit longer than just a few days because some of the components that I need for my chicken coop I'm having manufactured locally, and I'll show you some of that once it all comes in. But I'm going to get started now. First thing I'm going to do is start with the exterior framing for the base. Once I get that put together, we'll go ahead and put in all of the middle pieces for the framing, and then we'll stick it. What we'll do is we'll bring the 4x4 posts that I have, and we'll level it up on those posts, and then attach it to those posts after I cut off the excess from the post, because I've got 4x4x8s, and I only want the chicken coop to be about maybe 3 feet up off the ground. But anyway, so I'm going to get started. The first thing I'm going to do is do some pilot holes for assembling the exterior, I guess you'd call them plates, to the joists, and then after we get that done, we'll put in the center pieces. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, what you just watched me do was drill in these pilot holes for these end pieces. Now, the reason I drilled the pilot holes on these ends is just to prevent any splitting when I'm attaching these to the joists. When you drill towards the end of a piece, there's always a likelihood it's going to split. Now, when it's more towards the center, I shouldn't have to worry about the pilot holes. I'll just mark them and then just attach them into place. But I just wanted to let you know why I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these end pieces to the joist, and then we'll get the joist attached throughout the rest of it. There we go. Good. Okay, now we've got the exterior portion of our frame assembled. So before we continue, what we want to do is make sure that it's square. And then we're going to take this little piece of wood and we're going to attach it to the frame to keep it from moving once we have square, right? So just because you have equal pieces of wood that were cut, there's still a little bit of give, right? So in order to check square, what we're going to do is measure our diagonals. All right, so I've got about 90 3/8. And 90 3/8. Okay? Now, if it wasn't square, all you'd want to do is just move it back and forth until you achieved, a square shape, right? So you want each of your diagonals to have the same measurement, all right? Mine was just less than a 1/16 of an inch off. Each of them measured about 90 3/8. So anyway, I'm going to throw in these couple of screws here, and then we'll proceed with the rest. Okay. Now that should help us hold our square while we go ahead and do the rest, all right? Let's see. I believe I've already pre-marked this with the center of each beam. I went just about 16 inches on center. I believe these two outer measurements were just slightly less than that, but they're all equidistant. So with these, I shouldn't have to pre-drill, but what I will do is just give myself a line so that I'm hitting right on that line and give myself a couple of pre-measured marks to hit. So I'll do that now. Okay, we've got all of the joists attached now. So the next part that we need to work on is attaching the posts. All right, now there are a few different ways that you can do this. I luckily have a level concrete slab that I'm working off of. Now, if you were working outside, what you probably would want to do is set your posts and then inch up the base and then attach it to the post and get it all level, and then you'd want to screw it all in. That way, you'd even if you had uneven ground with your posts, you'd be able to level off the base because the posts would be at differing heights, and the base, would be level and then screwed into the posts. But we're not going to have to do that here because, like I said, it's already level. So that bubble is right in the center there, and right in the center there. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these resting on the ground. And what I'm going to do is just attach a few clamps. I've got these clamps, so what I'll do is clamp them on each side, and then I'll go ahead and attach my screws, and I'll just do that to all 4 of them. Now after I get the post screwed in, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with a couple of support pieces and stick a couple of 2x4s or 2x3s at an angle attaching to the post to keep that post from having any give, right? So we want to have it nice and solid. So I'm going to get started on this portion, and then once this is done, we'll attach those support pieces, flip it over, and then depending on how much time we have left today, we'll get the plywood down on top, and then we'll probably come back tomorrow and finish up, or we might just do the plywood on top tomorrow, depending on what time it is by the time I wrap this up. But anyway, let's get started on this. All right, what you just saw me doing there is using my little Japanese saw to cut off a little end that was protruding a bit. And this side also had to be cut off just a little bit. They were just about maybe 1/8 of an inch above the line there. So, but it's all nice and flush now, and it's really sturdy. I mean, I stuck a couple of 3.5 inch framing screws on the side after I put those framing screws on the front. And man, I'm telling you, this thing, pretty sure if I put the plywood on top, I could jump up here and jump around it would be just fine. But I think what I'm gonna do is put the plywood top or plywood flooring on first, and then decide after that's all on if I need to do any adjustments and put on any additional support on the legs to keep those from moving or rocking. But I think as I attach the plywood flooring to this, that may add some more stability too. So I'm gonna get working on cutting that, and then we'll get that attached. Okay, we've got the base built now. Now right here, you can probably see on camera that I've got a seam right here, and I'm not worried about that seam because I'm actually going to cover this with one of these 2x3s that I cut. And the reason this is going to be here is this is going to be a portion of the frame that's going to make up the front wall, right? So it'll be the wall right here. I'll have 2 windows, and then below that, I'm going to have the brooding box right here. And the brooding box is going to have doors that we're going to be able to open up. And this is going to be the shorter wall of the slanted roof, right? So all of the water will actually run off this way, and then this brooding box will have a slanted roof as well, so all of the water will come this way. The reason I'm making this the shorter side is on the back side, I'm going to make this the taller wall so that the roof will be at this sort of angle. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to put 2 rows of roosting area for the chickens. So there'll be an upper roost and then a lower roost. And I'm going to have a door that'll sit right here. And that door I'll be able to open up here, and then I'll be able to scoop all of the poop and everything out from the inside right here. Now, I'm going to have a custom piece of stainless steel cut to cover the roosting area. That way I won't have to worry about all the poop and muck and everything absorbing into the wood and rotting the wood. I'll be able to seal off around the stainless steel, and whenever we need to clean it out, we'll just be able to scrub that right out. And if we had to, we could get a brush or a squeegee or something, kind of spray it down and then kind of clean it out if it got really bad. But so that will be shown in a later video. I still have to get that piece measured and cut, but before I can give them the measurements, I've got to get all of the framing up so that I know exactly how big of a piece I need to have them cut for me. Now on that side, closer to you, that's where I'm going to have my chicken door. And so the door will come up, the chickens will go right down a ladder right on that end there. I've also got a couple of little vents that will go at the upper ends over on the tall end of the wall. And then, like I said, I'll have 2 windows in the front. But this is going to be it for today. I want to get the platform moved out to where the chickens are going to be before I do the rest of the build. Because right now, this is light enough that me and my wife and my older daughters could easily carry it into the position, and get it stable before I do the rest of the build. If I do all the build in here and then carry it out, it's just going to be way too heavy to move it. So this is going to be the end of the video today, and next we'll pick up with the base in the position where the chickens are going to be. Hey everyone, welcome back. So it's been a week already. I spent the last week working on assembling all of the sides and the rest of the chicken coop so that today we could come out and assemble it all on the base that we built during the last video. Now, over the last week, it's been raining like crazy. It's kind of windy, cloudy, and cold today. So I'm thinking all I'm going to get done today is just getting all of the framing assembled and the framing for the roof put on. And we'll see kind of how the day goes. Maybe we'll be able to get the sheathing on the roof and start measuring for the sides. But I think that will probably extend into another day or two of the work that we have to do here. So I'm going to get started now, just bringing out all of the portions of the framing that I assembled over the last week, and we'll start securing it to the base here and putting that chicken coop together that I've been working on. All right, so let's get going. Okay, I've got the pan all set into place. I got up on top and kind of walked around just to push my body weight into the pan and kind of secure it into place. I'm going to go ahead and bring the front end out now and get it secured, and let's secure the rest of this. Okay. Oh man, that's perfect. I had done a dry run just with the framing I had built, but I only just got the pan a few days ago. And I did all the measurements without having the pan here, and set everything up without the pan. So I was a little bit nervous if I had given the right measurements to the company that put that pan together for me, and everything fits perfectly. So very pleased. I even had drawn a line, so I knew where my reference line was when everything would line up, to make sure that it all lined up correctly, and it's spot on. So very happy. I'm just alternating back and forth on each side of these studs, just to add a little more stability. I'll just show you a little bit here. I put on these shed windows that I ordered online. Now, these are actually supposed to go on the inside here, but I put them on the outside. That way, if I want to open up the windows for the chickens, I don't have to climb inside the chicken coop. I can just walk right up to the outside and open and close these windows, no problem. So I thought that was kind of a cool little idea. Now, this is where the nesting box is going to be. I think in the first part of the video, I might have called it the brooding area, but nesting box. I'm sure you all figured that out. But these are the openings for the nesting box. I still have to figure out the framing for how I want to do this nesting box, so that'll follow up after this portion. But when I was putting it all together, I wasn't going to be able to get all of the spacing for the boxes perfectly spaced the way that I wanted it, because the dimensions of the window were different than the dimensions of the spacing for the boxes. So that's why I just cut off these legs here and put on this support beam, and then reattached all of the 2x3s to create equal spacing for all the nesting boxes. But what I tried to do was make sure that all of these support beams lined up with the what's it called, studs for the back wall. So that way, when I put the roof on top, all of the studs will more or less align down and push through all of the supports to make sure that there's equal distribution of weight along the stud lines from the roof rafters. So I'll show you that as I bring out the roof. But anyway, that was my thinking behind that design. But man, you can see, like, I mean, just 3 walls up and it's already solid, man. So I'm gonna get this other portion up, and then we'll bring up the framing for the roof and put the framing on for the roof. Okay. Stick a couple of diagonal wood screws in here. Okay. Okay, that is the framing for the coop itself. Now I'm gonna put the roof on. Like I said, I still have to figure out how I'm gonna do the box, but we'll get the roof put up now, and then either I think what I'll do next is get the roof on and then put the plywood sheathing on for the roof, and then maybe call it a day, and then pick back up for all the siding and the framing for the front there. But you can see the stainless steel here now. So the door, the door will open up, and then we'll have a roost here and a roost here. They'll just be slightly offset. And I'll just be able to put a brush or a squeegee right underneath there and pull everything right out of there to clean that out. So that is so awesome. I'm so pleased with that. It's gonna be so great. So anyway, let's get to the roof. It's gonna go on the front. Okay. Okay, good. All right. Oh yeah. All right, that lines up very nicely. That is just under 12 inches. This is just 20. This is 14. Okay, I want to come forward just a tad, just about a half of an inch. Oh, that's too much now. Right about there. Okay. That is where I want it. Okay, so I've got about a 20-inch overhang in the front, because what I wanted was for that overhang to be over the nesting box. I'm gonna have a little roof on the nesting box. It's gonna be at a similar angle as this roof, but I wanted the roof to hang over the nesting box to keep any additional moisture off of that box if possible. The back here, I believe, is gonna be just under about a foot. Yeah, it's about 11¼ inches, which is perfectly fine. And then on the ends here, I did about 6 inches. Yep, right about 6. Perfect. Yep. And I see I aligned all of my joists to be right over my posts, so that when the roof is on, all of the force will be displaced right through these posts all the way down, so it'll have even distribution of weight. And now I'm going to go ahead and secure down that roof and maybe call it a day after that. What I was thinking about is just driving some of these 4-inch screws straight down. And then bring some in at an angle. Make sure that didn't shift. That's all right. wonder, maybe I'm coming down on top of a screw head. That's what I think, yeah. I think that's exactly what it is. Coming down right on top of a screw head. Okay, let's try this again. That's better. That's better. Okay, I'm hoping you can kind of see it, but I've got my plywood on top now. And all I did is I took a single sheet and just slid it up here, brought it up to the end, and then used my clamps to clamp it down. In fact, I need to throw one more on. I'll throw this one on over here. Okay. So before I brought the frame out, and before I secured in all of the studs on the joists, I guess since it's a roof, on the frame of it, I had put on a piece of wood to keep it square. So when I put it up here, I kept that little piece of wood on, attached everything, all the joists down into the frame of the structure. And so that kept it pretty square. And so then I took my sheet, slid it up here. All I need to do now is just mark my sheet where I need to make the cut. So I'm just gonna mark right along here, take it and cut this piece off. And I already have another small piece that will fit on the front here from when I was cutting the sheets for the table. So I got, or a base, whatever you want to call it. But so I've got a sheet, I think that will fit that. So we'll just have about 1.5 sheets that we'll put on here. And I've got some nails that I'm going to use for the roofing instead of screws. And I'll show you that when I get that going. But anyway, I'm going to mark this, take it, cut it, bring it back, and I'll secure it. Okay, so that's my cut. All right, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I've got the first piece in place, and I'm just going to use these spiral nails to put the plywood sheathing in. And then once I get that fastened into place, I'll cut the other piece and put that in. It's starting to get colder and a bit windy, so I think I'm going to wrap it up after this today and do the rest later. All right, so I've got the last piece up here, measured, cut. Okay. I'm going to secure in the rest of this roof, and I'm going to call it a day after that. It's already getting towards the evening. It's getting cold outside. It's not supposed to rain tonight, so I don't think I'm going to have to worry about covering it up tonight. But I think I will run down to the store and grab a tarp just to get it covered up, preserve it until I get everything enclosed so I don't have wet wood to work with. But that's going to be it for today. And when we come back, we'll work on the siding. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, it's been a couple more days. I've got the nesting box ready to assemble now, and I'm gonna start cutting and putting up all of the siding. I'm gonna hang the siding and then stain it. I had considered cutting it, staining it, then hanging it, but in order to get the accurate measurements, I think I wanna go ahead and cut it, hang it, and then stain it while it's hanging. While I was off camera, I also got the roosting area hung. Now I thought about taking these down and showing you how I hung it, but honestly it was such a pain in the butt to get it the way I wanted it. I don't want to take it down again. But what I did is I just took some of these 2x3s, drilled a couple of holes in the center towards the end, and I got these pegs from Lowe's. These are actually just the closet rods that go inside of a standard closet. And then I just drilled a hole into it, took I guess what do they call it, a lug bolt, and then I screwed that in with a couple of washers to hold it into place. I've got a lower roost and an upper roost. So I should be able to fit about 15 chickens inside here. But anyway, so that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling the nesting box, and then we'll start working on cutting and hanging the siding here. Okay, so with this, I've got it assembled in two separate pieces. I've got a back portion here, and then I built a front portion right here. I didn't connect them because I'm gonna have the siding that's gonna connect them anyway and add stability to it. But just as it's built, it's already pretty stable. When I was framing it all out and figuring it out, I had it all set up and taken down to show you guys here. So before I connect all that, I'm gonna go ahead and just secure it into place. Okay. That should be good. See if I can get that in there. No. Just do it right here. There we go. Just kind of get that down a little bit, get a little more even. I'm just using these 4-inch framing screws just to attach this kind of centerpiece right here. I don't think I need much more than maybe 3. I think I ought to do it. Okay. Now, when I set all this up, I measured it so that this should have the same angle as the roof. I did a 2-inch offset, and then what I did is I cut this piece at a 10-degree cant. So that way it'll sit nice and flush over the next piece. Let me go grab that. Okay, now this is the front portion of my nesting box. And I got the same 10-degree cant on the front portion here. All right. Okay. Just get a quick measurement here, make sure I've got even separation. That's about good. This wood's got just a little bit of a warp to it. So I'm just going to secure it down using my clamps before I start screwing it all in. Right. Start at this end. Okay, that should be good. That's nice and sturdy. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put up these little dividers that I cut, and that's going to divide up this nesting box into these different sections. And I just cut some templates, and we'll just fit them right in. And I'm just going to secure these just using a finished nail gun. It's plenty strong. Actually, before we get to doing the siding, I'm gonna attach this little roof that I made for the nesting box. I just got a large piece of wood, finished wood. This is one of the pieces that sustainable, a stainable finish. And I'm gonna use this as the roof for this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit of that kind of same sort of asphalt, adhesive, roofing that we're going to put on this roof. We're going to put right over top of the nesting box as well. So we're not going to need to finish this or anything. So I'm just going to attach it right now. And I planned for about a 2.5 inch overhang on the sides. Just make sure that I hit that 2.5 inch overhang. That looks pretty good. Just make sure. Now the back framing there is not perfectly level or plumb, I guess. So I'm just centering it to these two pieces right here, and it's just a little bit off on the sides, but that's fine. So. All right, that's it for the roof for now. We'll come back and we'll build the doors a little bit later, and then we'll, put that shingling on top of this when we do the shingling for this. Now, let's go ahead and start hanging the siding. Mark. That should be pretty good. Just use some of these siding nails to go ahead and put that in. Let's see. Hit here. Okay, we've got one piece of the siding up. Now I need to measure the next piece. Now these pieces are intended to overlap. So when I measure, I need to measure it so that I'm overlapping here a little bit for the next piece that's going to be on here, and then overlapping here. And then I'll measure and cut. Let's see. So 29, add a ½ inch, right? Add a 5/8 of an inch. So I gotta add a 5/8 of an inch to my measurement. So I've got 29 inches. So 29 and 5/8. Now this piece I did at 53, so I'm gonna do the next piece at 53 inches as well. Okay, I'm gonna go measure and cut and come and hang this next one. There we go. Shoot. All right. I've got that little bit of overlap where these joints meet, and these are cut to lap over each other. So it's a nice seal now. Go ahead and attach that. It's going in now. Okay, that's 2 full panels done. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these panels off camera. I'll bring you back once I get all these hung, and we'll do the next portion of the project. Hey everybody, so we're back again, and we've made some progress, as you can see. I've got all the siding up now, and I actually just finished staining it a few minutes ago, just off camera. I also added another piece of plywood on top of this nesting box. I wanted a little bit more of an overhang, and I wanted it to be a little bit thicker for stability. So I went ahead and added this on. I'm gonna put that roofing membrane over top of this and on top of the roof. We'll be getting to that in the next portion or so. Tomorrow, I'm gonna build the actual access door and assemble that and hang that. And so that'll be the next portion of the video that's coming up. But right now, what I wanted to do is show you the hanging of the nesting box doors that I put together. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I also wanted to hang the chicken access door that's on the other side of the chicken coop. But real quick, I want to bring you in and show you something that I added off camera. I forgot to do before we added all of the framing when I initially assembled the nesting box. So let me bring you in real quick and show you that. Okay, now as you can see here, I actually put in some aluminum sheeting that went underneath it. And the reason I did that was to protect the wood just from, when the chickens are laying their eggs, or, anything that might come out and get on that wood is, likely to rot the plywood that's underneath here. This is just aluminum flashing that would go around the house. You just get it in the roofing sections at like Lowe's or Home Depot. But I just rolled out the sheet, slid it underneath, and put down some construction adhesive, and then screwed everything back down. I did run some caulking on the inside. I got to touch it up a little bit more. I can see as it dried, it kind of contracted a little bit, so I'll touch that up a little bit. I didn't want all the dust and everything getting underneath all of the plywood and everything once everything's done and set. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that little bit because I thought it was important addition that I put in here, and I thought it was kind of cool. So let's get to hanging these doors and get on to the next portion of the project. Okay, so I've already pre-assembled all of these doors. Now, I tried my best to just line it up on the studs here, but I made it a priority to kind of line up the finish at the base there so that it all looked kind of uniform. So, this door here doesn't exactly line up perfectly over the studs. It overlaps a little bit, but I don't really think that's going to matter too much. I'll show you here real quick. I just put on, it's just like a little hinge assembly, or not hinge assembly, a latch assembly, right? And it just presses in, just like a cabinet latch. That way when I put it up, it'll latch in. I'm gonna come back and probably put in some of those like little hooks, they'll come and hook into a little loop. So that way I can kind of lock it into place. But yeah, so this is the door assembly. And it actually works pretty well. The only concern would be, if the chickens kind of pushed it out and popped it open, or, if a raccoon or something came along and popped it open. So I just want to have some sort of lock on it. So it just opens and closes, right? That's it. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw the rest of these on, and then we'll get to the chicken door. You have to forgive the tree that's in the shot a little bit. Given the sun's direction right now, it's kind of the best shot I can get at the moment. But that way you can just kind of see, what it looks like from the front so far. I think it looks pretty awesome. I'm really happy with it. As I finish everything else up, but after I get the door built and I put that membrane on the roof, I'm going to put in some trim around it as well. And I got some, I think it's called geomatting. So I'll be placing that here to keep, rodents and stuff from getting inside of the chicken coop, and that'll keep some ventilation along the roof as well. But anyway, yeah, so that's what it looks like from the front. Now let's go ahead and stick that chicken door on. Okay, time for the chicken door. I purchased this online. Thought they were pretty cool. Got it on Amazon. Show you how it works here in a moment. Right on. So these are actually solar paneled or solar responsive, I guess would be the right term. So it's got a little sensor here. And so once you have it all set in and programmed correctly, when it senses the daylight, it will open. And then in the evening when the sun goes down and it senses that the sun has gone down, it'll close. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I gotta set it all up. It's not properly programmed yet. But anyway, so once I get it all set up, it will open and close based on the presence of sunlight. So I thought that was kind of cool. That way, you know, if I don't get up and get out by the time the sun comes up, the chickens can already come out once this recognizes the sunlight and opens up. So anyway, that's gonna wrap up this portion. I'm gonna bring it back tomorrow when we hang the door. Hey everyone, it's Slice, change of plan. Instead of working on the door next, I'm gonna start applying the roofing membrane. It is the spring and we're getting a lot of rain showers in. I've been tarping it up every night to keep it protected until I get the roofing membrane on. And so I decided I just want to get the roofing membrane on now so that it protects the plywood and I can work on the door after that, because I could always, you know, hang up a tarp over that door opening to keep it from getting wet on the inside. But anyway, so this is the roofing membrane that I've been referring to. I've already kind of pre-cut it. I'm gonna cut a little more to kind of fit it around. All it is it's got kind of like a tar sticky side on the bottom here. You just apply it directly to the plywood and it'll stick. Instead of doing, you know, individual shingles, it's just like one giant shingle instead. So I'm gonna go ahead and start applying this now and then we'll do the roof after I get this on. So I'm just going to apply this one side first. And then once I get this done, I'll pull the rest of it, kind of roll it up and pull the rest of it off. Okay. There we go. Okay, just get it up where I need it. There we go. All right, just kind of press it down, it'll stick right into place. I've also got this nifty little roller, help kind of press it all into place. Okay, that stuff is sticky, so I'm gonna put my gloves back on now. Okay. Okay. Stick it on the bottom here. And it adheres really, really well. So this should be really good. Okay, now I am gonna cut this so I can bend the rest of it around. Okay. Bends really nice. Just stick it on there. Okay. Bring the rest of this down and around. Nice. Just kind of push it up into it. trim that a little bit. Let's see. There we go. Smooth it out. Okay. I think what I'll do is cut off this excess here and then wrap it around there. There we go. And just close that off. Yeah. And I'll just bring that under. Seal it right up. There we go. Nice. Smooth it all down. Good. Nice. Okay. Before I do the rest of this, I'm going to go ahead and peel it. Stick that in there. Now we want to go ahead and wrap this side here. So I think what we'll do, we'll cut a seam here. Okay. We'll cut another one right here. Let's see. Maybe we'll want to cut it. No, we want to wrap that. Okay. Let's do this. Let's cut down. Cut that right there. Good. Hold that up there. Good. Okay. And then good. Put that up right there. Just take that off. Okay. Then we'll just wrap that down and around. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll just wrap that right around the edge. Now, the warmer this gets in the sun, the easier it is to manipulate. It's a little bit chilly here today, but the direct sunlight on it is still very helpful. Roll that out. Good. Roll that edge. Good. We'll tuck it under. Good. Okay, now we'll roll that. There we go. That is the roofing membrane. Just kind of mash it all together and it kind of bonds itself there. Anyway, that's it. That is the roofing membrane now. Okay. Now I think that's a pretty good demonstration of the process. I'm going to do the rest of that up here and then we'll get to the door. So I'll see you in just a moment. Okay everybody, so we're ready to start getting all of the trim up and we're going to get the door hung, and I believe we should be able to get the ramp built today and complete this whole build. So I'm just going to go ahead and start hanging all my trim. What I did is I stained this with a black stain. I also rubbed it with Thompson seal. I know that Thompson seal says not to put their sealant on a pre-stained surface, but I did. I applied it and then I just wiped off the excess, hoping that would just provide a little bit of extra sealant from the water, a little extra protection. Now the exterior is much more porous, so after I stained that, I did apply the Thompson seal to the exterior as well, and it really, it just sucked it right in and dried right up. So I'm hoping, even though it wasn't per Thompson seal's directions, that it'll all be fine. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the trim up and hurry up and try to get this build done. Okay. still be able to, there we go, excellent. It's one of the window frames up. Let's do this next one. Go. Scoot that over. Good. All right. Start at the top there. Just make sure everything stays aligned. So I want that. Okay. Attach this in. Good. Line that up there. That up. Okay. Good. Oop. Watch that. All right, let's stick one in here real quick. Okay. Oh, yeah. So beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Get that aligned. That should be good. Throw a couple more in that one. That should be good. Nice and solid. Okay, let's go get the other side. Okay, so this is the door assembly that I've cut and prepared. And what I'm gonna do is build it so that it looks kind of like a batten door. And obviously this is the same type of siding as I used on here, but then I just cut some of these pine finish pieces that will make up that batten design. In order to secure it, I'm gonna use these pocket screws because I think they kind of give a cool design, a cool kind of button looking design. And I'm gonna use some glue as well to secure it down. All right. So first I'm just going to apply some glue and then we'll compress it down. There we go. And I'm just going to provide an abundant amount of glue on here. Really make sure it sticks. Okay. Pop that a little bit. Okay. And just set my screw locations. Come in 1 inch. It's 3.5 inches. 1 inch. 1 inch. Okay. I'm going to do pilot holes just to make sure the wood doesn't split. And the screws I'm just going to tighten down just till they're surface tight. Okay, go a little bit tighter than that. Okay. Okay, I've got the door assembled now, and I went ahead and I already kind of brought it up into the opening. I left a wide gap, and I'm going to put in some strips on the inside to kind of close that, and maybe even put some weather stripping around the inside. But I left a wider gap because this is pine, and it tends to swell, and we get very humid summers, and so I didn't want it to get stuck in the opening. But anyway, so I need to drill the holes now to attach the hinges and attach all the hardware. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that now. Okay. Write this down. Good. There we go. Opens nicely. Now we can attach all the rest of the hardware. There we go. That is awesome. Check that out. Isn't that a cool batten door? I mean, I think that it just makes it look great. That's fantastic. Okay. Now, I also bought these magnetic attachments, so I'm gonna stick one here and one here. That way, when I close the door, it'll catch, kind of hold that in. And then I also have one of these bolt locks that I'm gonna stick outside here, and then I got a handle for it as well. So I'll do the magnetic attachments after I do the rest of this. So I think we'll do the bolt attachment first. We can go ahead and lock it while I put on the handle. Okay. So we'll stick this right about there. Let's see. Yeah, it should work. Okay. That's I'm so happy with that. Man, look at that. That's just beautiful. Let's see. Make sure that it's nice and level first. Okay. Make a mark there. Good. And actually, let's leave that on. Drive this in. Dang it. There we go. Do the rest of this real quick. Okay. Right there. There we go. Come on, Anya. Okay, we got that. Let's do the door handle now. Anya, come. All right. Oh, shush. Enough. Okay. Looks like for this, I'm gonna need a wrench. I'll go grab that wrench real quick. I think we'll stick that right about there. I think that looks good. Actually, let's make a center mark so that we hit center. Okay, so it's 3.5 inches. Have 3/4 here. Good. Make sure that this is straight. Should be good right there. Right. Check that out. How beautiful is that? Man, I am pleased with that. That turned out perfect. I think that looks awesome. Nice and quiet. Moves smoothly. Okay. Okay. We're at the last portion of the project, which is just attaching a ramp. So I already kind of did a dry run, make sure I had everything aligned correctly. So we'll go ahead and attach it real quick because I have got to get these chickens out of my house. They are 6 weeks old already and they are trying to establish their pecking order. And they are keeping me up all night. Okay, let's go ahead. Off camera, I cut up a bunch of pieces of wood here to make some tracks. All right, we'll just simply pop those in there real easy. Okay, just spread them out. Okay. Oh man, am I ready to be done with this? Stick this one up here, give them something to push off on. Okay, here we go. Got a little ladder for them. I'm gonna go ahead and prep this and get the birds outside because they cannot be inside my house for one more moment. All right, I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, everybody. Okay, everybody, let's see how we did. All right, the big reveal. Oh, and we got chickens. Let's bring you a little bit closer. All right, I don't know if you can really see there, but we got chickens in the chicken coop. All right, it worked. Well, anyway, I am very excited to be done with this project. Those chickens are 6 weeks old now, and they were getting pretty rambunctious inside the house all night last night. They were just going crazy and establishing their pecking order, screaming at each other. So it was definitely time to get them outside. But as far as the build goes, I mean, I'm very pleased with how this whole thing turned out. I've never built a chicken coop before. This is my first attempt at building a chicken coop. And I mean, so the whole process of preparation for this, I just looked up a bunch of different designs, tried to figure out how many chickens I wanted to have. I had my graph paper, so I drew out a couple of designs over a few weeks leading up to when I actually initiated the build. This design just made the most sense to me. It seemed to be the easiest, doing just kind of a lean-to roof instead of doing like an A-frame. And I mean, honestly, I'm very pleased with it. It's something this size, if I was to try to get it at like Tractor Supply or something like that, or order through Amazon, they were all between $2,000 and $3,000. This whole build, I had some of the wood, so I saved myself a little bit of money, salvaging the wood that I had. But I think I spent about $1,000 to $1,200 total. Now, I did get that stainless steel pan donated to me, so I didn't have to purchase that. If I had purchased that, I mean, that would have been between probably $200 to $500 just for that pan. But you're not going to get something that's going to be exactly like this, from like a Tractor Supply or Amazon. It's not going to have the pans in the bottom. It's not going to have the aluminum flashing in the nesting boxes. And the build itself is much more sturdy than something that you're gonna get through a purchase because they're gonna do bare bones. I definitely overbuilt this. I built this, to be strong and to normal building code standards. 16 inches on center and all that. And most of the chicken coops that you're going to see online, or they're not going to have all the studs and everything that I put in. It's they're just going to use the bare minimum of what they need to construct it. But I'm very pleased with it. I think that this is a chicken coop that's going to survive for a long time. Very happy with the way that it looks. I really like the kind of red chestnut stain that I put on with the black stain for the trim. I think it looks sharp. Very happy with it. But anyway, now that I'm done with this, the next projects that I have coming up, I need to enclose the bottom of this to build a structure for my geese. I decided instead of building a whole separate goose house, that what I was going to do is actually utilize the space I have underneath this chicken coop and turn that into the area for the geese to live. I have got to rebuild the gate and fencing along the front side of my house so that predators can't come in and get to my chickens. I'm gonna have to put up some farm fencing in the meantime just to keep everything out until I'm able to get that built. But that'll be the very next thing I've got to do, because I've got to get that built right away. And then as soon as I'm done with that, then I'll work on getting the structure for the geese. And I have a ton of other projects that I'm going to be doing throughout the year. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that if you like it, that you'll comment down below and share some of your experiences, maybe talk about some of the builds that you guys have going on. And please come back, share and subscribe to my videos, and get out there and build something, everyone.